This is the AWS News Desk, live from Seattle, with your host, Rudy Chetty.
No shortage of buzz in the industry as customers, industry watchers, and press took in all the details of Andy Jassy's keynote. The AWS CEO personally launched 27 new services, but more than 40 have already been revealed this week. One of the most remarkable things about reInvent is that it's a conference for customers and for them to learn and share their own experiences using AWS with their peers. JPMorgan Chase dropped a fun fact. The firm financed Thomas Edison's efforts to invent the first light bulb. As pioneers of innovation, the way JPMorgan is using AWS today is inspiring other financial service organizations.
We are a systemically important institution, serving clients through some of the most turbulent events in history. Working with AWS allows us to scale massive volumes, like Amazon EMR for trading analytics, or AWS Lambda and Amazon Elastic Kubernetes services for risk calculations, so we can innovate to stay ahead of our competitors. Transforming yourself takes a lot of work, but we are creating paved ways for developers and accelerating adoption.
And that's just part of the JPMorgan story. Another innovator that has pushed the boundaries of storage and grew along with AWS is Smugmug.
The launch of Amazon S3 in 2006 was a seminal moment for data storage. This invention totally changed our trajectory at Smugmug. Today, we use almost everything AWS has to offer. They've continued to add more and more data stores and analytics tools that have let us really pick the best tools for the best job to serve our customers. Tools like Athena, Redshift, Elasticsearch, Kinesis, and DynamoDB, which allows us to scale and serve photos at billions of requests per day. The cloud has totally reinvented how we store, secure, analyze, and share data at a scale that we couldn't have even imagined 14 years ago.
reInvent is definitely the theme of the conference and bringing new capabilities to the fore. On today's show, we're going to hear from a number of customers about how AWS is impacting their business. In fact, all the new instance type announcements are going to change the way customers approach compute. Let's go now to reporter Kevin OMara with more on the 5 instances that joined the EC2 lineup.
Every time a new innovation comes out, we're one of the first to adopt it because it lowers cost and improves performance.
Delivering on AWS's promise to customers, cost optimization and increased performance drove many of the new services and updates in CEO Andy Jassy's keynote Tuesday in Seattle.
40% better price performance. That is a big deal. Think about what you can do for your business if you have 40% better price performance on your compute.
AWS Graviton2 powers the new C6GN instances, providing a 40% better price performance over comparable current generation x86-based instances.
Other instance options for high-performance computing, graphic-intensive workloads, and storage-optimized instances were all launched, as well as an M5ZN instance that offers some of the fastest compute performance for complex calculations and real-time analysis in financial or even gaming workloads.
The AWS Outposts family grew too, with 2 smaller members joining the crew. Outposts is now available in a 1-server rack unit or a 2-server rack unit that stands at just a few inches tall, which, when compared to the full 42 rack unit Outpost, is a whole lot smaller. Lots of content to unpack. One additional note about compute. AWS Local Zones is expanding too. 3 new locations are available now in Boston, Houston, and Miami. 12 more locations across the US are expected in 2021. In Key West, I'm Kevin OMara.
Collaboration with customers is a key strength at AWS, which is the perfect transition to share with you another customer story. Here's reporter Ali Flicker with how Carrier is reinventing.
AWS CEO Andy Jassy and Carrier President and CEO David Gitlin highlighted an exciting new project between the two companies, one that is especially critical this year during the pandemic.
Like Amazon, Carrier is a company founded on innovation.
Carrier excels at what's known as cold chain solutions. That's temperature-controlled transport, which means they can safely deliver sensitive cargo like food, medicine, vaccines, and more. The two companies have announced they're teaming up in a big way. Together, they're creating what's called the Lynx platform. The Lynx platform combines AWS's IoT, analytics, and machine learning capabilities with Carrier's existing digital offerings. The aim is to create a more efficient, temperature-controlled shipping solution.
Where data was previously siloed, we'll now be able to aggregate temperature data across the product's entire journey onto a data lake, say from the time the banana is first cooled on the farm till when it arrives in the supermarket. And we can use AWS ML capabilities to provide faster, smarter, actionable intelligence to better manage the cold chain and prevent breakpoints.
The platform has a wide range of applications. For example, a customer could use it to analyze the health of their equipment. They could use it to monitor potential roadblocks that may cause delays, and they could even use it to provide a truck with a suggested driving route. The possibilities seem endless with this new offering, and it's a great example of how digital transformation can benefit entire industries like shipping.
It is really impressive what Carrier is doing, and really important, particularly at this time. And as we said earlier, the keys to reinventing is a combination of building the right reinvention culture and then knowing what technology is available to you to make that reinvention change and using it. And that's exactly what Carrier is leveraging.
Customers who use the Lynx platform will increase their efficiency and reduce cost and waste. That's what I'd call a win-win. That's all for now. In DC, I'm Allie Flicker.
There is so much to unpack from reInvent already, with dozens of new services or significant updates in the books. Yesterday, we shared some big news on containers. Reporter Rob Munoz drove a little deeper into the announcement.
Of the containers that run in the cloud, about 2/3 run on AWS. And that's because while most other providers have one containers offering, typically a managed Kubernetes offering, AWS has 3.
Containers provide a standard way for developers to package and run applications quickly in any environment. AWS gives customers the most choice on how to do that based on their preference. Now customers have even more freedom to architect the way they want. The launch of Amazon EKS Anywhere and Amazon ECS Anywhere now allows for developers to choose to run these services in their own data centers.
With ECS Anywhere, which will be available next year, in the first half of next year, customers can bring their own infrastructure. They can bring devices running at the edge, any place where you can run the ECS agent. And as long as it can connect back to an AWS region, we'll be able to run your containers for you over there.
It means customers can have an easier time managing their hybrid footprint. Automating container and serverless applications just got easier with AWS Proton. It allows platform teams to maintain hundreds or thousands of microservices with ease, and it was nearly impossible before. Developers can use it to set guardrails, increase productivity, and enforce best practices across their organization.
We're always looking for opportunities to reduce the workload on our development team, on our operations team, by using higher level AWS services that manage more and more of the technology problems.
iRobot needed a flexible machine learning platform that could run across on-prem and AWS cloud environments. They decided to run Kubeflow on EKS to seamlessly integrate with AWS, so ML engineers could focus on rapid experimentation. Making containers easier to manage, deploy, and share is what AWS set out to do, and the move has been well received. In Seattle, I'm Rob Munoz.
COVID-19 pandemic has changed the way we all look at healthcare, both our own health and the healthcare industry. Technology has been playing a big role this year. We've watched the cloud enable healthcare solutions like never before. To talk about this, I'm joined today by Dr. Shez Partovi, Worldwide Head of Healthcare and Life Sciences at AWS. Shez, thanks for joining us.
My pleasure, Rudy.
So this year has been intense. Healthcare has had to adapt and move quickly like never before. What's been your observation during this time?
Well, Rudy, what we've really seen is our customers accelerating transformation on every level, and they've been really rising up to meet the challenge. And at AWS, what we've been doing is trying to develop programs that actually help that accelerated transformation. Programs like the Diagnostic Development Initiative, which we committed $20 million to help our customers as they are accelerating the journey of transformation to rise up to meet the challenges of the pandemic and, of course, COVID. So what we see essentially compression, experimentation, and really using cloud to try things out, to see where they can exit, whether it's a call center, whether it's research and development into vaccines, whether it's just operational effectiveness, given some of the challenges. We just see a compression of this agility and desire to move forward and leap and make a quantum difference really quickly. And we've been delighted at AWS to support them on that journey all year, and we will continue into the future.
Research has been expedited because of the ability in the cloud to do move modeling quickly. What are you seeing in this case?
We've seen some terrific stories of incredible acceleration of research using cloud technology. A great example I can give you is a company called Accelera. It's a young company based in Vancouver, Canada. And what they're using is they're using machine vision to detect the production of antibodies in cells. They have a very particular technique where they can label antibodies. Their premise is if you can identify an antibody that in a patient that's recovered from COVID, if you can identify that antibody, then you can make medicine from it. And so they were able to scan 5.8 million immune cells in just 3 days. I mean, you and I couldn't do this manually. Well, we'd need an army of us to do it in 3 days. And so they uploaded the photographs they took into the cloud, into AWS, and using computer vision identified the cells that were producing the antibodies that were able to treat the COVID infection in that particular individual that had recovered. And within about 6 weeks, they were able to go from a bag of plasma from a patient that's recovered to a clinical trial because they identified the one cell out of 5.8 million, the one cell that was making the right antibody. That kind of compression, 6 weeks, that would have taken years any other time. So that's what cloud technology enables. That's what AWS. So we're delighted to support customers like Accelera to bring medicines quicker around something like COVID, SARS-CoV-2 virus.
Vaccine development is making headlines globally. Yesterday, Andy mentioned Moderna. Can you talk to us about that use case?
Absolutely. Now, Moderna, they're a company that's using messenger RNA to actually use that to create medicines, which is a novel idea. Now, they view messenger RNA as an information content. And so their premise is if they can build an entire technology platform that they drop that information content onto and then use robotics in their laboratory, they can create new medicines, in this case, a vaccine for SARS-CoV-2 virus. And so what's unique and a great example of this acceleration and compression is that Moderna went from the DNA sequence of the SARS-CoV-2 virus, from it being published from a site in China, to the actual design of the vaccine. They got the DNA sequence on January 10th, and they had the design of the vaccine only 3 days later on January 13th. And the reason they could do that is they're using AWS technology for their design engineering, using machine learning base to go from that initial DNA to the messenger RNA design. And then, of course, the real additional example of that compression and the acceleration of using cloud technology is that Moderna went from the actual sequencing till the time in which they were able to go to a clinical trial for that design within 2 months. In fact, 63 days to be exact. Now, the impressive thing here is if you go back one generation to the SARS virus, actually Dr. Fauci was involved in the SARS virus, going from sequence of the DNA of SARS to its clinical trial. That took 20 months. So from SARS virus sequence to clinical trial, 20 months. SARS-CoV-2 virus from sequence to clinical trial in 2 months. A 10x improvement in going to a clinical trial from the DNA sequence. That's an example of the acceleration that cloud technology brings that Moderna demonstrated in this journey, this incredible journey of creating the vaccine for SARS-CoV-2 virus.
We also had Carrier on the stage yesterday with Andy. Can you tell us a bit about cold chain storage and why it's vital for some vaccines?
Well, some of the vaccines, Moderna, for example, has publicly announced that their vaccine is to be stored at about minus 25 Celsius. And so in terms of getting the vaccine to different parts of the world, it's important that the vaccine is maintained at that low temperature. And Carrier is one of the leaders in cold chain storage, i.e. making sure as the vaccine in this example moves from point of manufacturing to the point of actually being given to a patient is maintained. And AWS's partnership with Carrier is to really ensure that they have enhanced visibility, they have increased connectivity and actionable intelligence for the entire process of moving this precious cargo in its low temperature from end to end. So AWS provides that information fabric to be able to, the technology fabric, not just information fluidity, but technology fabric to make sure that as this cold cargo is moving from place to place, that there's total visibility as where it is, what temperature it's at, understanding and predicting where it might have issues in terms of its delivery. And so that's the partnership with Carrier and where AWS helps them achieve their desire for cold chain transport.
Awesome. Well, thanks, Shez. It's been a pleasure having you. And
thanks so much, Rudy. It was a terrific conversation. Thanks again. Have a great day.
That was Dr. Shez Partovi, Head of Healthcare, Life Sciences and Genomics at AWS. That's all for today. Tomorrow we'll bring you all the top partner news, plus hear from a customer using machine learning to study whale migration patterns. And join us for a look back at the last year as we chat with senior AWS leader Matt Garman. That's all tomorrow. In Seattle, I'm Rudy Chetty, AWS News Desk, signing out.